Welcome to Spiritual Dessert Trews, episode 31 for Russell Brand and other people. So this is a bedtime story taken from the book BIOCENTRISM. It's your spiritual nutrition of the evening or night, depending on what time you're watching. We were talking about the kitchen and whether it exists, whether you're there or not, or whether you're there to perceive it or not. Does existence take place? Does it need an observer? So, all right, so next it says, but consider the refrigerator, the stove, and everything else are composed of a shimmering swarm of matter and energy. Quantum theory, to which we will devote 2 full chapters, tells us that not a single one of those subatomic particles actually exists in a definite place. Rather, they merely exist as a range of probabilities that are unmanifest. In the presence of an observer, that is, when you go back in to get a drink of water, each one's wave function collapses and it assumes an actual position, a physical reality. Until then, it could be like Pee Wee Herman's show, or like Sesame Street, where like you close the refrigerator and they're in there dancing, getting it on, doing whatever, and then you open the refrigerator and they're all like, "Well, behave! I'm a vegetable." It's possible. Okay, so here we go. Each one's wave function collapses and it assumes an actual position, a physical reality. Until then, it's merely a swarm of possibilities. And wait, if that seems too far out, then forget quantum madness. Stay with everyday science, which comes to a similar conclusion because the shapes, colors, and forms known as your kitchen are seen as they are solely because photons of light from the overhead bulb bounce off of the various objects and then interact with your brain through a complex set of retinal and neural intermediaries. And this is undeniable. It's basic 7th grade science. The problem is, light doesn't have any color, nor any visual characteristics at all. So, while you may think that the kitchen, as you remember it was there in your absence, the reality is that nothing remotely resembling what you could imagine can be present when a consciousness is not interacting. If this seems impossible, stay tuned. This is one of the easiest, most demonstratable aspects of biocentrism. Indeed, it is here that biocentrism arrives at its very different view of reality than that which has generally embraced for the last several centuries. Most people in and out of the sciences imagine the external world to exist on its own, with an appearance that more or less resembles what we see ourselves. Human or animal eyes, according to this view, are mere windows that accurately let in the world. If our personal window ceases to exist, as in death, or is painted black and opaque, as in blindness, that doesn't in any way alter the continued existence of the external reality or its supposed actual appearance. The tree is still there. The moon still shines. Whether or not we are cognizing them, they have an independent existence. By this reasoning, the human eye and brain have been designed to let us cognize an actual visual appearance of things and to alter nothing. True, a dog may see an autumn maple solely in shades of gray. That's right, no color. And an eagle may perceive much greater detail among leaves. But most creatures basically apprehend the same visually real object, which persists even if no eyes are upon it. No, not so, says biocentrism. This, is it really there? Issue is ancient, and of course, predates biocentrism, but makes no pretense about being the first to take a stance about it. Biocentrism, however, explains why one view, not the other, must be correct. The converse is equally true. Once one fully understands that there is no independent, external universe outside of biological existence, the rest, more or less, falls into place. Now we're on chapter 3. Should we continue? Notice the necklace. Remember, I don't wear clothes in my house. This is just so I know how far the camera goes. So we have a fiery, crazy hat this evening. To go with the sound of a falling tree. Who hasn't considered, or at least heard the old question, if a tree... I was going to bring this up earlier. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there, does it make a sound? If we conduct a quick survey of friends and family, you'll find a bunch of different answers. No, we shall find that the vast majority of people answer decisively in the affirmative. Of course, a falling tree makes a sound. Someone recently replied with a touch of pique, as if this was a question too dumb to merit a moment's contemplation. With taking this stance, what people are actually averring is their belief in an objective, independent reality. Obviously, the prevailing mindset is of a universe that exists just as well without us as with us. This fits tidily with the Western view held at least since biblical times, that little me is of small importance or consequence in the cosmos. Few consider or perhaps have sufficient science background for a realistic sonic appraisal of what actually occurs when that tree falls in the woods. What is the process that produces sound? So if the reader will forgive a quick return to 5th grade, Earth science, here's a quick summary. Sound is created by a disturbance in some medium, usually air, although sound travels even faster and more efficiently through denser materials such as water or steel. You know how much smarter dolphins are than we are? It's ridiculous! We're like using 5% of our brain. It was really cool to see in the movie Lucy where like she was using 100%. She turned into light. She could bend the whole universe. It was fun. All right, there, on that really wild note, pleasant dreams. Have wild, crazy, lucid dreams of flying. Kiss, kiss.